So they get flowers and a cake stand is the official prize.
So you get a cake stand?
What we've established so far is you've got like a vendetta against Channel 4. There's no chance of a contract coming from them.
I've got a bit of beef with Prue.
Like fell to her knees.
Not that I was ever found guilty of it.
What's your take on the actual show of Great British Bakeoff?
I don't watch it, I'll be honest. So it's hard for me to comment objectively. But I like the fact that they're baking food. But I don't, food's involved, so I approve of that element of it. One thing I don't like about it is I've not seen every episode, I've seen a few, but it seems to me like I think a lot of that food goes to waste. That's a few of my tweets have been around that kind of area. People say to me, "Oh, you're wasting food and stuff," but every time that's a really popular show, and every time I've seen it, I'm thinking, unless the crew is like 40 people strong, a lot of that food is going to be thrown away, and people accept that. Like, it's in a tent,
Especially, how many times does that get commented on your videos?
Oh yeah, I mean, like innumerable amounts. I can't count how many times that's been on. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably.
Fair enough. I mean, my biggest sort of gripe with the show is how underwhelming the end result is. I think to win the show, you get a plate.
Yeah, I asked you, we were talking about this before we started recording, and I said, what do you get? Because normally in like reality shows like this, where there's a competition, they win, say like, if it's the X Factor, you get a recording contract, right? So something like this, I would expect you get like a contract at a big restaurant or like a bakery or something, but they get a handshake and a plate.
You might not even get a handshake, but you definitely get a plate. Is that all you get, Mike? Do we know any more detail? But that's the thing. Like, you look at Gordon Ramsay, he does Hell's Kitchen, but at least then they get to become like a head chef at a kitchen of his. That's a good gig. I'm pretty sure they get like, a 6-figure contract. It's like,
you know what it is? It's like the equivalent of Pointless as a game show. Do you ever think that? Like, I watch Pointless and I'm like, they go through all this to win like 2,000 quid. I'm like, come on now. This is prime time.
They've took a week off work.
It's like that. It's the same thing, but for like a reality competition show. Like, they don't get anything but a plate. It's a plate like solid gold.
So they get flowers and a cake stand is the official prize.
So you get a cake stand?
Yeah.
Is it made out of like 24 karat gold or something?
Can you scrap it in?
That is absolutely unbelievable. Like, it's not even like the plate. I was thinking, at least it's kind of decorative.
Yeah, because I mean, what's the show that Paddy McGuinness does with the like dating show? What's that show? Take Me Out. Yeah,
I don't watch that nonsense.
Yeah, so like Take Me Out. At least then they get like a holiday away. It might go to shit, but they get to go away for a week or two. Like, that's at least a little bit of a payoff.
Yeah,
for humiliating yourself on.
So it says online that besides the flowers and cake stand, many of the Bakeoff stars go on to earn massive sums of money through appearances, cookbooks, and launching cooking schools.
But that's not that's kind of like after the fact, isn't it? That's not the part of the show. You might not, you might die 3 days after and you got nothing but a cake stand. Shocking. Was it Channel 4?
Yeah.
I'd expect no less. I've negotiated with them a few times.
Have you done some work with Channel 4?
Yeah. We could probably get into that in a later episode, but I remember they tried to get me to do one show in particular, which was, quotes, about the British competitive eating scene. I mean, there isn't one, right? But,
you are it.
Yeah, and they said, we do this show, and I quoted them a price, right, for a few days of shooting.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, no, you want to do this for exposure, show? And I'm like, don't come at me with the E word. my bank doesn't take exposures as mortgage payment. But it doesn't surprise me that they're a bit stingy.
What about, so another thing I want to talk about, the judges. Like, what's your take on the judges? Because we've got Paul Hollywood, obviously the main man. He's been there for a while. And then we've got a lady called Prue. But what qualifies them to be the judges? Because I watched a show recently, right? And I promise you, a lady fell to her knees because he sort of like lured her. Can you just ask you about this? Can you have a look? And he stuck his hand out really fast like that, and she like fell to her knees and started crying for a handshake. So we're talking about prizes, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know I know who Paul Hollywood is. I don't know what his what his expertise are, like what he's done professionally. I think you said he was into some kind of baking, which you would assume he is. But I think he's just in there for the mummies, right? Who like a little bit of eye candy. He's kind of like he's one of those. He's not like Michael Bublé's one of those people that mums like, but he's like unattainable. Paul Hollywood's kind of like a middle of the road. Like they could believe that maybe like they see him in a bar one night, they could pull him, you know.
He's got very blue eyes. I noticed that. I don't know if it's the color grade on the actual show, but he's got piercing eyes. Check that out next time. Oh, Mike's just give us some more information. Apparently, he comes from a family of bakers. His dad had a bakery, and then he was the head baker at a number of hotels around the UK.
So he was the master baker of this family. Cut that out, Mike. That was terrible.
Cut that out. That's the level of this show. Can we get Mike? Can you get some info on Prue? Because I want to know what her background is. All I know about Prue is actually wound you up a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say I've got a bit of beef with Prue because somebody asked her, but there was an eating contest, I think in Scotland. I don't know what they were eating, but somebody asked her what she thought about it, and she said, "Oh, this is disgusting. You know, it's disgraceful behaviour." And I thought it was a bit rich from somebody who gets paid every week to go on a show and just eat a bunch of cake.
A corner of cake.
Yeah, which presumably she doesn't need. She could probably get by with a few square meals, you know, and I'm not sure what her daily caloric maintenance is, but she's probably over it, I think. But I just thought, like, what's the point in criticising when you're on a show which probably wastes quite a lot of food?
Indeed. I mean, my only take on Prue is, like, and I think she's a bit of a legend for this. In 2017, the show was coming up to the final. Obviously, they record it months before it actually goes out. She was obviously on a Jollies at Christmas time in Australia. I think it was Australia or New Zealand. She was in the Southern Hemisphere. She tweeted, "Congratulations to the winner," the morning before it actually got announced.
So she doesn't understand time zones.
She doesn't understand time zones, and she ruined it for everybody.
How does she not know that? Because like every time they do like the New Year's celebrations, I remember at the Millennium, the first place they went to was like New Zealand, where the New Year starts first. I don't know.
I like it. I think it's a legendary move to just ruin everybody's days because it's like she should have put spoiler alert. Congratulations.
Did that affect like the bookies and stuff? Were bookies still taking bets and stuff at that time?
Can you do that? Do you think? Do you think you can put bets on?
You definitely can put bets.
Can you really?
I put them on like not on Bakeoff, but I put them on like TV specials before for sure. Not that I have a gambling problem or anything, but yeah, you can definitely put them on TV shows.
I think there'd be too many whispers though. Obviously if you had a mate that's been on and he knows who's won it, you could do like an inside job. You can be like, who's won it then? All right, then I'll put 500 quid on it.
Yeah, maybe there's like a cut-off point. But
it does actually say on Google that, unfortunately, due to the pre-recorded nature of the show, most bookies won't allow you to place bets on the outcome.
Maybe it's something like live shows.
That doesn't stop them giving you their opinion on who might emerge victorious, but there's no like official betting for it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because like you could earn a few quid, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
and inside, I'm pretty sure that's like illegal in business. If you know that like some trades are going to happen beforehand.
Insider trading, yeah, I know a lot about that. Not that I was ever found guilty of it.
So that's why you've got all that money, is it? All right, back to Bakeoff then, Mr. Beard. So the show itself, I actually quite enjoy it, to be fair. But it's split into three parts. Like they start off and they sort of make some shit. I don't know what the technical way of saying that is. They bake some at the beginning. I kind of just like I'm flicking through TikTok at that point. Then they do the technical, right, which I personally think is the best part, and then they do the showstopper. Do we know what the first part is?
Yes, the first one is the signature challenge.
All right.
This is where they get to show off their sort of tried and tested recipes.
So they've practiced.
That makes sense. So they do something that they're really good at. Yeah,
pretty much.
So that's pretty easy.
I'd be great on that. Like I'd just turn up and do like grilled cheese donuts.
Mate, I've seen your cooking ability.
It's simple, but like I think I'd excel in that first category. When it came to the showstoppers and all that, nah, I'd be doomed. But the first one I'd do all right.
The first one does have to be related to the theme of the show, though. So like if
because they're split into weeks. They're like, this week we're going to do choux pastry, and that's what they do for the week. Then they do biscuits.
You told me like to because I don't watch the show, right? You told me to do like a little bit of research. So I watched the most recent one, and it won't be the most recent one when this podcast goes up, but they were making out that Paul Hollywood had invented choux nuts, right? And I was like, that's a beignet, right? That's like an old Acadian recipe. It's like it's common now in like southern parts of America, right? Which is like just fried choux pastry, made into like a donut. Paul Hollywood did not invent that. Like I don't know if Channel 4 the researchers are watching, but you need to retcon that. That doesn't happen.
How dare you let the truth get in the way of a good story?
Yeah, but I don't know where where I was going with that, but
The liars. Channel 4. What we've established so far is you've got like a vendetta against Channel 4. There's no chance of a contract coming from them. Don't say shit about Spotify because that deal's 2 weeks, at max 2 weeks, we'll get a deal.
I mean, I love Spotify, apart from the fact they pay you fucking peanuts.
Cut that out.